Welcome back, everybody, to the Canada Specialist Program series. Our first update today is with Mandy, your local representative for Travel Alberta. Mandy, thanks for joining us. Please take it away.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, everybody. So, as Charlie said, I'm Mandy and I represent the province of Alberta. And today I'm going to give you an overview of Alberta and also cover off the cities of Calgary and Edmonton and some of our hidden gems in southern Alberta. Just waiting for my page to turn, sorry.
You're right, Mandy. If it's got
Yeah,
stuck, just give it a click on the cover slide. That's it. Click it
there we
forward. There
go.
you go.
Sorry, everyone. So many of you know where Alberta is. We are located in Western Canada and we have our lovely neighbours, British Columbia, to our west and the province of Saskatchewan to our east. Many visitors who come to Alberta will combine their trip historically and normally with the province of British Columbia, whether or not that's driving across the Rockies, doing it by car or by motorhome, or even on the Rocky Mountaineer train or via rail train. To give you an idea of the size of Alberta, Alberta is equal in size to the combined areas of France, Belgium, Switzerland, and the Netherlands. So there's plenty of wide open space for your clients to explore. So why do people come to Alberta? There is so much to explore. It's all about our epic scenery. We are lucky enough to have lots of bucket list attractions. We have the Canadian Rockies, we have Banff and Jasper National Parks, and of course, world famous Lake Louise, to name just a few. We are a year-round resort. We have 4 world-class ski resorts, 2 in Banff, 1 in Lake Louise, and 1 in Jasper. And we're also home to 6 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, many of which are national parks or provincial parks. And we are also really lucky in Alberta to have very low light air pollution. So it means it's great opportunities for stargazing, seeing the constellations, and also even seeing the Northern Lights. We have wildlife galore. We have over 500 different species of wildlife, from bighorn sheep to elk to bears to moose, bison, elk, and we even have bald eagles that reside by the Bow River in Calgary. Many of the wildlife is in the national parks and provincial parks and even at the side of the road. And we've got adventure galore, whether or not you're like soft adventure, we've got hiking, biking, horse riding. We've even got our own golf courses in Alberta to those real adrenaline junkies who are really like, basically like big adrenaline sports like canyoneering. You've got snowboarding. You've even got things like heli hiking as well. And throughout Alberta, there's lots of rich Indigenous culture and experiences. We've got a couple that I want to sort of name check is Warrior Woman in Jasper, where you can hear all about Indigenous stories and understand her culture through fireside chats, drumming and singing. And also we have Métis Crossing, which is about an hour and a half away from Edmonton. This is a cultural interpretive centre where you can experience traditional canoeing and weaving and also see the rare white bison. So how do you get to Alberta and how do you get around? The main entry points into in Alberta are Calgary and Edmonton. There's great airlift into Calgary. You have daily flights from Heathrow with Air Canada into Calgary, and also the same with WestJet. WestJet also offer a summer service from Gatwick into Calgary daily, and also they offer a summer service 3 times a week from Edinburgh. There aren't any direct flights into Edmonton at the moment, but there are some great connections via Calgary and other gateways in Canada. As I mentioned before, getting around is really easy in Alberta, either hiring a car or motorhome, even going on an escorted tour, or a really popular way to combine Alberta and BC is on the Rocky Mountaineer train. People tend to maybe bookend that with an Alaska cruise, or also you've got Via Rail, which go from Edmonton or Jasper into Vancouver. Alberta also really lends itself to the independent traveller, or for those who don't drive, because there are many shuttles and transfers between the major cities and attractions in our province. So this is a map of Alberta, and most people would tend to start their journey in Calgary. So in today's training, I'm going to cover off the hidden gems in southern Alberta, Canmore. Lovely Lynn's going to cover off Banff and Jasper, and then also I'm going to talk about Edmonton right at the end. I just really wanted to highlight before we go on our journey about when to travel to Alberta. As I mentioned before, we are a year-round destination, but if you have clients who want to visit Alberta, don't forget to recommend visiting our province in spring and in autumn. Spring is a great time. This is when all the wildlife is coming out of hibernation. So it's great for wildlife spotting. And then in September and October, this is when you'll see spectacular autumn fall foliage. And also this is a prime time for stargazing as well. And often both spring and also autumn are often cheaper in terms of flight cost and on the ground costs for hotels and sort of and car hire, and also rail journeys as well. So I'm going to start off right at the south of Alberta, and this is Waterton Lakes National Park. And this park borders Glacier National Park in Montana. Waterton is known for its chain of lakes. There's over 80 lakes and ponds that are basically in and around the park. So there's plenty of opportunities for things like canoeing and kayaking and also fishing. As well as its chain of lakes, Waterton has colourful rocks and thundering waterfalls that all surround the park. The park is also home to a variety of wildflowers, and also wildlife, including black bears, elk and moose. The park also offers over 120 miles of hiking trails and is also an international dark sky park as well. Next up, we're going to head to Dinosaur Provincial Park, and this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's about 2.5 hours sort of southeast of Calgary and about 3 hours away from Waterton Lakes National Park. This park sits in striking badland scenery in the Red Deer Valley, and it's home to 2 impressive outdoor fossil displays. These fossil displays date back over 75 million years ago. If your clients do decide to visit Dinosaur Provincial Park, a couple of things that I can recommend. One is going out in the protected area of the park, and that will be with a guide who will show you the dinosaur bones and sites where they have been found. Or for people who are maybe more independent, they can go out on the driving loop tour where you can see the dinosaur bones, and there's also loads of hiking trails to suit all abilities and lengths. So this park is particularly great for families with kids because it's really up their street. Next up, we're going to talk about Drumheller, which is about 90 minutes east of Calgary. So it makes a great opportunity for people who want to do a driving or even a day trip from Calgary. It's about 2 hours away from Dinosaur Provincial Park. This is where you'll find, again, badland scenery and impressive hoodoos. The biggest draw in Drumheller is the Royal Tyrrell Museum. This museum houses the largest collection of fossils in the whole of Canada, and also displays one of the world's largest collections of dinosaurs. The museum is also a paleontology museum, as well as being a research and active dig facility, and they are still finding fossils to this day. We're heading back to Calgary now, which, as I mentioned before, is the main gateway into Alberta, and it sits dramatically between the prairies and the mountain peaks. Calgary is home to lots of character-filled neighbourhoods, and as you can see from this picture, there's lots of green space, and it sits by the pretty Bow River. It's a great city to explore by foot or even by bike. It actually has over 1,000 kilometres of recreational pathways, which is the largest urban pathway system in the whole of North America. There's a big arts and culture scene in Calgary, and it's becoming a real foodie place as well, with lots of world-class restaurants also opening up in Calgary as well. Some of the things I'd recommend to your clients that they experience whilst they're in Calgary, I would say the first stop would be to go to the Calgary Tower. This is about 190 metre tall, and it gives a great 360-degree view of Calgary and beyond. So it's a great first time when you arrive in Calgary, go there first, go up the tower and basically understand about Calgary and get your bearings about where you want to visit in the city. Another attraction which is quite newish in Calgary is Studio Bell, and this museum tells you the story of music basically in Canada. They've got some great artifacts and exhibits throughout the museum, including a recording studio used by the Rolling Stones, Elton John's piano, and also costumes of many different artists that actually played their music in Alberta. Another sort of newish, in a way, attraction is Alberta Boot Museum. This is a popular place where you'd get your Western clothing and cowboy boots, and it moved to a bigger location in June last year, and it's about a 5-minute walk away from the Calgary Tower. There's a couple of great things that your customers can do there. It now offers an interactive space in the sort of shop area where you can actually see cowboy boots actually being made, and also visitors can actually buy a boot maker experience where they can actually learn how to make their own cowboy boots as well. Obviously, we can't mention Calgary without the Calgary Stampede. It's a 10-day rodeo that happens annually every July, which they call the greatest show on earth. It's known as the world's largest outdoor festival, and it welcomes over 1 million people year after year. There's so much to see and do in Stampede, from award-winning food stalls to powwows, to live music, to fireworks. Then also you have the rodeo stadium as well, where the rodeo competitions take place. So from Calgary, we're going to head into the mountains, and just 1 hour away from Calgary is Canmore, and it's about 20 minutes drive away from Banff. This is a really cute, quiet and charming town, and it's surrounded all around by stunning mountain scenery. It's quite artsy. They've got lots of interesting art galleries there as well. And again, there's a good selection of hotels here and restaurant choices as well. And there's quite a lot of microbreweries that are popping up in Canmore as well. So heading north from Canmore, you'll head to Banff and Jasper National Parks, Lake Louise, and obviously travel along the Icefields Parkway. But the lovely Lynn is going to tell you about how wonderful these places are in her presentation. So when we visited Jasper, we will then head to Edmonton, and this is about 4 hours drive away from Jasper, and this is our capital city. It is known as Festival City. There's lots of interesting art, culture and theatre festivals, and is also home to the 3rd largest fringe festival in the world. Edinburgh is the #1 fringe festival. The Edmonton is also home to North America's largest urban parkland, which actually is in the city. And this parkland is 22 times the size of Central Park in New York. This is called the River Valley, and it offers total escapism from sort of city life, with plenty of opportunities to do paddle boarding, even enjoy canoe rides, and even enjoy a Segway experience. So Edmonton, the downtown area of Edmonton is where it's definitely happening. You've got the Rogers Place Stadium, where you've got ice hockey matches, basketball and live concerts. If you like beer, there's lots of microbreweries also opening all around the city. And if you like shopping, Edmonton, I should say, is home to the West Edmonton Mall, and this has over 800 shops and entertainment galore, from ice rink, from a bowling alley to a water park. So this is great for families. Alberta only has a sales tax of 5%, which is the cheapest out of any other province in Canada. So if you're going to do shopping, wait till you get to Alberta. Other must-sees while you're here is the Royal Alberta Museum, which is pictured on the top right. This is the largest museum in Western Canada, which tells you the history of the province of Alberta. And a couple of other things that I want to talk about before I finish is Fort Edmonton Park. This is the largest living history museum in Canada, and this gives visitors an immersive look into Alberta's history, and it has an amazing Indigenous peoples experience. And if your clients have time, I do recommend they go out to Elk Island National Park. This is about a 30 minutes drive away east of Edmonton, and it offers total tranquility and true wilderness. The park also plays a major part in the conservation of bison and is home to over 300 bison. And that's me. Thank you all for listening.
Mandy.
I'm going to hand you over to Charlie.
Thank you. I know it's not very long to talk about an entire province. So well done. Thank you so much.
I need more time.
I need more time. I know.